All right. Blue-white artifact aggro here. So we've got a couple of cheap artifact creatures, Voltaic Servant alongside Steel Overseer is kind of like the payoff for what we're doing here. Tap this, activate, put a 1/1 counter each artifact creature you control. We also just have some other miscellaneous decent aggressive cards like Legion's Landing here, along with Venerated Loxodon. The other things that make artifact tokens like Depose, Deploy, Teferi, Dovin, Grand Arbiter, Scion Master, Thopterist, Saheeli, etc. So we're gonna go ahead and dive on into a constructed event with this one and see how it goes here. You know, I actually never really got into Lord of the Rings. I read a lot of Dragonlance growing up. It was the book series that I dug into a lot of other miscellaneous, smaller fantasy genres. My ending early today. Yeah, I plan to be done by like 2:30 today. I'm not going to be running late like I have been. My grandparents are coming into town to visit this evening, so we're going out with them and the kids. Or staying in, one of the two. They're coming over to the house to visit at least. Teferi's Law will be the next deck up, Caboose Man. It was going to be the first standard deck today, but we had someone cut something in front of it. Yeah, seems fine. Hey, 3 Omega. Thanks for keeping on with that tier 1 sub. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good Tuesday wherever you're at. Yeah, the problem is that in order to keep my job well organized, after I finish being live for the day, I have anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour worth of additional work I have to do off stream. So if I don't end before they get here, things like YouTube videos don't get published tonight, the decks aren't ready for tomorrow, etc. So I think I might hold these till after I play this. So, like, normally my go-to for when people don't understand what Twitch is like, well, you know what YouTube is, right? Well, it's like that, but it's live, and it has a focus on video games. That's a pretty big punish for not, it's a pretty big punish for not playing this out, playing out more threats here. But my grandparents didn't know what YouTube was, so I don't know that they really have a good understanding of what I do as a job. I mean, it's not like strictly punished, because like if I play these cards after this, I get to generate some extra 1/1s. Like, there's also a chance this just dies before I get to do anything. That felt really good. It felt like engaging in interesting play patterns. And did anybody else feel engaged and interested? I did.
Let's try this.
It's okay, Jerry. Am I interested in playing the new Transformers TCG? That's probably something I'd check out on stream if they had a digital client. I just don't have room in my life for non-digital card games. Alright, so how about if I attack these here? So I want to flip this over. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sacrifice these to this and put counters over here so we kill the Teferi. They're like the little robots that could, chat. They're the little robots that could. A chip in a chair. They're chipping away. Board game stream when? I've thought about doing that. Just the amount of effort you have to go through to properly relay what's going on in a board game, especially one people haven't played before, to viewers at home is just really huge. Use the control deck now, opponent. I got 5 cards in my hand. This isn't a fight you can win. That's probably true, Teferi, but don't you tell me how to live my life. I do what I want. If I play this, do we think we're beating a sweeper? Do we think we can beat a sweeper? Kinda, like, Dovin getting to 7 goes a long way to beating a sweeper. But, like, our Dovin's, like, pretty far from 7 here, chat. That's pretty good. If I smash with all of these, this goes to 7. Which, at that point, maybe we can. They block these, they take 10 down to 22, and then they can only play 40 cards with this. Myth! Thanks for the half-year support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh, you know what? I think I should have done this pre-combat to diversify... where I put those counters. Untap an artifact. Sure. Unless they have 5 mana Teferi, Dovin might get to untap an ultimate next turn, which would be nice. Hey, Sailor. Hey, we had a few good matches with it. It's hard to be too upset with it. I had a few good matches to start. This is why I didn't play this out, or I didn't play Karn out, because into the Wrath I get to draw 2 cards here. So like we might have a chance in the long term, like drawing 2 cards and then ulting the Dovin. Like, maybe we could do something here. And they, like, play 5 mana Tef and tuck the Dovin. We're very done, but If I draw 3, maybe that can pull us through here. They're still at 20 though, because their deck just like has so much incidental life gain in it. This was like such a good piece of additional technology for their deck. The person that figured that out for the Mythic Championship was very smart. I'm hoping that mouse over is just them reading it because they're not familiar with Dovin.
Trust me. You'll thank me later.
No, there was a player at the Mythic Championship that had what's it called in their deck? That card. All right, a bunch of vetoes and negates, please. I feel like this card's probably just too low quality. That's probably important for Steel Overseer, though. Yeah, Tez is probably fine. Go a little bit bigger. They don't really have that many counter spells. I think I'm going to trim a couple of these. Yeah, the Esper deck's a lot better than most other things in the format. Boarding in enchantment-based removal against the deck full of Teferis and D-Sparks and other cards that allow them to exile those enchantments does not seem particularly good. Esper decks only had a 50% win rate last weekend. All right, you got 5 minutes to cite a source before you take a 10-minute break. This isn't Trump's Twitter account. You just get to post nonsense here and not cite a source. So, good luck, Godspeed. I posted a source yesterday. I didn't post anything about win rates of decks yesterday. We don't have enough data to accurately present win rates of decks.
I have practiced against men. Meditate and prepare.
It's actually funny you say that, Ninja. I just dropped a carrot on the floor. One of the political things we were talking about this morning was the fact that one of the reasons why I am very fortunate enough to be able to do this as a job is because my wife works for a Fortune 500 company and provides us with things like health insurance, because paying for health insurance as someone self-employed in the United States, especially for an entire family, is absurdly expensive. You know, that's probably not a bad thing to consider, Lucas. If Christy ever lost her job and I was still doing this for work, that's probably something we'd consider. The company Christy works for is still pretty reasonable. Is pretty reasonable though. They treat their employees pretty well and provide a reasonable amount of benefits. So, unless something happened to her job, we're probably staying where we're at. Ah, the Legion's Landing mirror match, you say? Another thing worth noting too, that someone said I could do my job from anywhere. A fiber internet connection is a soft requirement for doing my job. Why don't mention that company by name? Because in general, I prefer not to dox my wife. You probably figure it out if you look hard enough, but like, adding an extra layer of effort for people is like, it's probably reasonable. Can you ask what she does? Her title is business analyst, but I don't know if that actually tells you what she does. It doesn't tell me what she does, so it probably doesn't tell you much either. What do you see the minimum upload stream for streaming is? L'Assault God, thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. So here's the thing. It's rare. So you don't need a fast upload speed for streaming. Like my streaming connection rarely goes over 3.5 Mbps up. So like 10 Mbps up is fine. The problem is that, like, take, for example, when I had Comcast internet before we had fiber in my area. The issue isn't the average upload speed. The issue is the frequency of the downtime. And most of the infrastructure in most places in the United States does not have the reliability that fiber has. And that reliability is very important. His attack is weird. They must have a bunch of 3s in their hand, huh? They like threw away both of these creatures to flip the Adanto over. Also, you wanna know that we all know that ISPs are a total crock of poop that are bad for their customers for the most part, but when we got fiber internet in the town I live, it took Comcast less than a year to start offering their own gigabit internet. So like, didn't have it for forever. And then as soon as fiber moved into town and offered gig, Comcast was within a year. They're like, yep, we're offering gig here now as well. So it's like, you turds, you could have offered this a long time ago, but you just didn't do it until you were forced to by competition. Why trade a construct for 4 life? Because I wanted to put a counter on my Chamber Sentry. Lets me get aggressive. I'm keeping the same amount of power on board, and I'm costing them 4 life. Yes, and in a perfect world, that is a good example of capitalism working. When they are forced to compete, you have some actual innovation. Yeah. Because I stream for a job, I do so much uploading that I had to pay Comcast an extra $50 a month to be able to use more of my internet that I already paid them for.
No, I am not making this up as I...
There's like play a second Teferi and bounce one of these. I think I do.
I know my response.
Hey, Punisher, thanks for the half-year support. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Was it possible that the cable wasn't laid out? I don't know what you mean if the cable wasn't laid out yet. I think I'm just attacking them for 6 here. I feel like we can race them. So Comcast, at least in the area where I live, you're limited to 1 terabyte of data transfer per month, both up and down. And streaming, I regularly go over a terabyte. Like, I'm using a minimum of like 4 megs per second while streaming. And I stream, you know, anywhere from 50 to 60 hours a week.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
And the entirety of my fiber bill is like $75 now. The amount of money you have to pay for a business class line from Comcast is comparable to highway robbery. And past that, business cast lines don't actually have more speed. They're just slightly more reliable.
I am not going to sit this one.
Take this for a moment. Every major Canadian ISP is rated worse than Comcast. That's brutal. Yeah, sure, they don't have a data limitation on a business line because the business line costs infinite dollars to begin with. We're very close to the interstate where I live, actually. I don't really have a need for this Teferi anymore, right? I think I just let him die.
We will meet again.
It was a lot more than a $50 premium when I looked into it. He said this was okay, and I don't know why. And of course, you can make the mana base and make deck side deck changes. Will do, Maris. Yeah, that might not happen tomorrow morning, Maris, because or tomorrow. That deck might not be up till Friday because I am gonna have to take time to go through the mana base. It'll be up this week for sure. Oh, so you're saying for one very specific tournament with a very small sample size that there was an Esper with a 50% win rate? Sure. And do you understand that taking one sample size from one very small tournament is not meaningful extrapolation to the entirety of the format, Gargoyle? So you're right. There was a Mox tournament where Esper had a 50% win rate. Get the new shiny thing. Welcome to the 200k crown, Maris. I might have to double block this turn. Oh, that's so brutal. Well, we had a chance. I felt like we were gonna get on the scoreboard, chat. We were so close. I'm gonna trade one of these for a 5/5 and go to 4 here. If we'd have hit a land there, we would have been able to go Saheeli into Depose a 4/4, like make a block or maybe contain things inside of combat next turn. Yeah, I guess deploy buys me a turn. I guess. It gains me 4 life and gives me some jump blockers. If I can survive, our hand generates a lot of value. Are you sure I wasn't dead on the backswings, Derek? Because they had History Benalia popping off? Am I supposed to just trade off here? I feel like I am. I might not have been Jew. I didn't count that. I mean, it takes 3 mana to shoot the Marshal. Like, how do I take 3 mana and shoot the Marshal? Well, not just dying, right? I guess I can eat this and chump here and go to 5. That's probably the line. Yeah, that's probably the line. Yeah, I probably need to take Marshall off the table to have a chance to win this. Alright, there's a land that lets me play another Chamber Sentry for 2 here. And then inside of combat here, I can go block, shoot this for 3. And then, like, I can double block here and eat that. Hey, Bruno, thanks for the 10 months support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And they've got this first fork going, but we've got some value in our hand here if we could just, like, alleviate pressure on the board and give ourselves some breathing room. All right, so I think I do this. These'll trade, these'll trade, this'll trade here. We take 2. Signor Ches, thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Welcome to Hoaglandia. So this was blocked, so it doesn't deal damage. So these pop off. This'll trade here. Go down to 3. All right, they drew another brick. That might be the breathing room that we need.
Prepare to marvel at my masterpieces.
So I trade this. I chump here. I take 1. I go to 2. Yeah, probably. Probably they're the same thing, only this has vigilance. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't think it really matters. I don't know that we're going to be. I don't know that we're going to be in a position to race anytime soon here. I guess, oh, that's actually true. Leaving a token that 3 free can exile is important. What do we think of this and go to 1? It leaves this here. So 1 is, it's pretty close to the same. It means I have to block every Adanto First Fort token for the rest of the game. It's like, it's not exactly the same. It's close, though.
I will defend my allies. Some solution.
Longtime viewer, and thank you for not calling me Scion or Ches. I'm going to hold on to this just in case we draw Glacial Fortress. And actually, once we get Overseer plus Chamber Sentry going, that hip checks the Adanto First Fort, right? Because we get to get a counter and shoot something every turn. Are we doing it, chat? Is this the road to stabilization? Oh, if I played a land, I could shoot something this turn. Yeah, that's probably a good call. Are they about to elephant me? I think we're about to get elephant to... Stacko! Thank you for the sub gifties there. I appreciate that. Sure to take a peek at the deck queue. Let me know if there's something there you'd like to see a little bit sooner. I think we're still okay through an elephant here. I think we're still okay through an elephant here. Yeah, super okay. This gains us a life, too. Stabilization, ho!
There is great power in the things we make.
Some lessons for you all.
Bump up, the bump up, the wump up, the jam. Bump up, the wump up, the bump up, the jam. Thank you, Stacko. I appreciate it. Welcome to our new members of Hoaglandia with gifts from Stacko. That's cute. Your guy powered up 1 turn. What if we powered him up every turn? All right. We're on the scoreboard at least, okay? One is not done. Ain't that the truth? 1 is not done. It's good, clean live end. So I think Loxodon is probably not a card we want here. We want to be playing defense a lot of the time. Maybe I don't want the Prisoner Helmet's a little expensive. I think this is fine. I like a lot of our cards here and how they line up. All right, let's try it again. Not blocking, might as well attack for 1. Yeah, if we hit a land here, we're gonna be in a pretty good spot. I guess even without a land, we're not doing terrible here, huh? Pump up, the wump up, the bump up, the jam. Pump up, the wump up, the bump up, the jam. Get him! Get him! Arrgh. My steely overseers. Steely Dan is here, and he is ready for you. Marshall, Marshall, Marshall. Now that's a little scary, because that is another knight for this. I think my opponent made a little mistake here. I think this attack is pretty free. There's no way I'm trading for that. Woof. Alright, so I really want to hit a land so we can time Raveler one of these knight tokens. This is where the magic happens. This is where the magic happens. I think we're dead, right? Because these are attacking for 18. And I can't kill these inside of combat. Marshall, Marshall, Marshall. Yes, this was a cut the line deck, Rion. Why aren't some of you lands? Why aren't some of you lands? This is where the magic happens. I don't need double white for anything, right? No, let's just keep lands that don't hurt me. Don't be vague, Snoop Doge. Be specific. What threats do you feel like are worth playing that we are not currently playing? Free money! Thanks for the extra biddies there, Skip Dash. Yeah, we played a little bit of the Blue White Skies deck on stream, too. I watched Nassif play some of it as well. I mean, our deck is a pretty low curve overall. And Legion's Landing could technically flip into a land in some situations. I guess I'm just exiling this here. It's gonna turn into a 3/3. Yeah, Sentry, for someone asking why I didn't play this for 3x's 3, you can, but it doesn't make it bigger. It only gets counters equal to the number of different colors you spend on it. I think we're probably dead here. We're behind on board, and we don't have any cards in hand. Well, Why didn't this button work? All right. Let's take 30 seconds here and put some filters on and double check. Artifact creatures. Oh, this shows artifacts or creatures. That's a tilt. This card's probably close to playable in something if you wanted to take the deck in a different direction. I don't really know that standard as is has the cards to really support an archetype like this. Like we can look through here, but there really aren't other reasonable artifact creatures that are very cheap. Yeah, we have a couple of Voltaic Servants in our deck. It just doesn't really... It's just like, if you don't have Steel Overseer out, it's just a 1/3. Yeah. Yeah, the support for what this deck is trying to do just doesn't seem to really exist in the format. I feel like if you wanted to maximize Steel Overseer, rather than trying to be a clunky... Like, this deck kind of feels like it's just bad White Weenie. Like, it's doing similar things with this Legion landing, but just, like, ultimately is worse. I feel like if I wanted to work on this and I deal with Steel Overseer in this format, the core I would want to focus on is probably this. Like, this Saheeli plus Steel Overseer, and then ways to trigger Saheeli. And then maybe you play Jeskai and play Mizium Tank, because, like, if you have things to trigger Saheeli, you have probably ways to trigger Mizium Tank, and your Saheeli tokens can just crew the Mizium Tank. Something along the lines of this. Because, like, this interaction is, like, kind of okay. So, like, taking a powerful interaction and slotting it in with other kind of powerful cards is probably the direction you want to go, as opposed to, like, playing this aggressive-ish core that just has a worse card quality than, like, a similar aggressive deck in the format, in this case, White Weenie.